loves, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rye and this is Rye's Reading Corner. It is only July 11th and I already have enough books to do a early July book haul. So I know we're all surprised. So like I did in June, I did a beginning month book haul and I did end of the month book haul. And I'm thinking the way that I'm going, I'm gonna have to do that again because I've bought too many books already. And it's a problem. I'm someone that doesn't just love reading books, I love collecting books. Like, I have a trouble getting rid of books even if I didn't like them, just because I like to look at my books. It's really weird. So let's get started for what I've bought so far. So the first book I bought was Stephen King, The Mist. So I was kind of prompted to buy this for a readathon that I'm participating in. So it is about a small town in Maine that had this awful storm, and then there's this mist that creeps over the town, but it's not just your normal mist. There is some stuff in it, and it is killing people. So I actually did read this, didn't really like it. But, yeah, so Stephen King, The Mist. This is only my second Stephen King book that I've ever read, which is kind of sad. But I would like to read more. So if anyone has any good Stephen King recommendations, please let me know. All right, next book. I just dropped my book. Next book, Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. This book is amazing. So, but I don't want to go into, I'm not telling you my opinions of it. I'll wait till at the end of the month. But what this is about is two girls. One lives in Puerto Rico, the other one lives in New York City, and they are brought together by their father's death. However, they don't know that they had the same father until this tragedy occurred. It is told in free verse. It's a super quick read, even though it looks like a chunker. If you have not picked this up, I highly suggest it. For one, it's beautifully written. Two, it's absolutely beautiful. The cover on the outside and the cover on the inside is gorgeous. It's like the green leaves represent like the daughter from Puerto Rico, and then it has like the apartments of like New York City to represent the other daughter. The names are really kind of hard to pronounce, or I would say them, but I will just kind of say this was my first Elizabeth Acevedo book, and it definitely will not be my last. All right, next book I picked up so far is Darling Rose Gold by Stephanie Robel. This is a story. It is told from dual perspectives. We have Patty, who is the mother, and we have Rose Gold, who is the daughter. Patty has just been released from jail. She was in jail for pretty much child abuse. She made her daughter sick to the point where she had a feeding tube, had these teeth were rotten out. She shaved her head, and she like pretty much took all this money from people through fundraisers, and she was in jail for only like 5 years. If you're familiar with the Gypsy Rose story that happened, a true life that was also turned into, I believe it was a Hulu show, this is inspired by that. It's very similar. I don't want to go into too much because I have read this. I did do a vlog on it. I will post that below. Beautiful cover. It is a quick read. It's not long. But again, it does, besides being told from the dual perspectives, there's also part of Rose Gold is told in the past, while Patty's is told in present day. So yeah, Rose Gold. All right, next book I have picked up so far is Girls of Storms and Shadows. So at the beginning of the month, I finished Girls of Paper and Fire, and I loved it. And you guys will notice that I'm definitely late to the game in a lot of books. I feel like the best thing so far for me for BookTube has that it's definitely expanded my horizon on what type of books I read, and this is a series in that situation. So I loved the first book so much that I already had bought the sequel prior to finishing the first book. So Girls of Storm and Shadow, I haven't started reading it yet. I don't know much about it because I didn't want to read the back of the book while I was still reading the present one and spoil it for myself. So I honestly have no idea what this is, but I can only imagine that it's going to be amazing, especially how the first book left off. I can't wait to read this. I think it might be a group read that we're reading together because I did read the first book with a group. I think we're going to move on to the second one together. Not 100% sure, but my goal is to fit this in somewhere this month just because it is such, I can't wait to see what happens. All right, the next book that I have hauled so far is Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and I am going to do these two together and take a hint, Dani Brown. So these are both by Talia Hibbert. This is the first, this one's the second. It is following the story of the Brown sisters, and this is Chloe Brown and obviously Dani Brown, and I know that she's coming out with a third book that follows the story of Eve Brown, their the other sibling. Get a Life, Chloe Brown is about Chloe. She has a chronic illness. It's kind of stopped her in her kind of living her life until she is faced with death at one point, and her life flashes before her eyes and realizes that she's not living her life to the fullest. So she makes a list to kind of help her reach all these goals and kind of get back to how she was before all this chronic illness started. Along the way, she meets Red, who actually works in her apartment building, who's the supervisor, and obviously this is the romance genre, so there is the romance. Great book, funny, hilarious, characterization is amazing, and I did read this one and I absolutely loved it. So the next one I did, like I said, is Take a Hint, Dani Brown. Dani Brown is also Danica Brown, who is Chloe Brown's younger sister, and she is a professor. I believe she's working towards her PhD, and she teaches English, which I love because I went to college for English and I am a teacher as well, so I thought that's so cool. And I believe something happens where she gets stuck somewhere, and the security guard rescues her and carries her out of like the elevator, I think it is, and it's like a fake dating trope. So I'm super excited. I'm actually reading this for a fake dating trope on one of my readathons. So yeah, perfect. If you haven't picked those books up, I highly suggest it. For anyone that has watched any of my videos in the past, you're probably gonna be surprised of this next book I picked up, but I'm a very forgiving person, and I would like to give this author another try, and it is Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. This just came out this week, I believe. She is the author of Wilder Girls, and I know that many people might give me some slack for this, but I didn't care for Wilder Girls. I think I gave it 2.5 stars. I didn't think the writing was done well at all. I thought it was, I don't know, I thought the concept was really cool, and I think that's what's driving me in to read her news story. But I'm nervous. I am very nervous, but I'm such a forgiving person that I would like to give her another try since it was her debut novel. And yeah, so we're gonna try this one now. And this is, talks about Margot, I believe, and she's born as just her and her mother, but she wants to know more about her past, and she finds like a picture with, and it says like a town, and I believe she goes back to the town to know more about it. I honestly don't know because I didn't think I was gonna get this, but I've seen a lot of people hyping it up so far, so I thought I would give it a try. It's also a beautiful cover, and then the inside has like this like a lighter on it. It's just super cool, and then the orange on the side. So it's a beautiful book in itself, and honestly Wilder Girls is one of my favorite covers of all time, so I don't know, I'm gonna give it a try. We'll see how, I'll try her books again, and we'll see if this will be the last one I ever try of hers, or if she comes out with more, if I'm willing to give them a try as well. Alright, the next book I have hauled is Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Barron. This is another book that has just come out, and this takes place 200 years since Cinderella has found her prince, but the fairy tale is not over, and now teens in this area are required to attend this ball where the princes and like the men of the town have to come, and they have to find girls, and then if they are not picked by a man at the ball, then they like disappear. So I know that I believe there's a sapphic romance in it, which I'm always for. I've heard some definitely mixed things on this book, and I wanted to read it for myself because I think the concept sounds really cool and the cover is absolutely gorgeous, so I'm hoping to maybe fit this in this month. We'll see. Alright, the next book I have hauled is Nowhere World Wake by Marissa Pessel. I won't lie, I know nothing about this. I know that it's some type of young adult thriller type book. It was Barnes & Noble's YA pick of the month or whatever, and I was ordering other books from there, and it was on sale, and so I picked it up, and I honestly know nothing about it, but I know it's a thriller mystery YA, so, and the cover is kind of cool, so I don't know what else to tell you on that one. Alright, next one I picked up, I do want to do a disclaimer. The next two books are from Book of the Month, however I do not support them anymore. This subscription was given to me a gift for Christmas, and I had 2 credits left, so I just bought 2 of the books now so that I was done with them, and I will not be giving any more money to them, but it was a gift, and I had 2 free credits left, so I had to use them. So I did get Mexican Gothic. This I feel like is being talked about all over the place. I don't know too much about it, to be absolutely honest. Like I said, it's been talked about a lot, and I think the cover is absolutely gorgeous, and like I wanted to use my 2 points up, so I did snag Mexican Gothic. The next one is, like I said, I used my 2 credits now instead of waiting for months. I just wanted to get move on from book of the month, but I'm super excited for it. It's The Shadows by Alex North. It's a teenager who, I'm going to read, a dark imagination, a sinister smile, always on the outside of the group. Sounds so creepy, and I know it is going to be scary. The cover, just looking at itself, creeps me out. It is not a long read, and I'm going to try and fit this into one of my readathons, of many readathons that I'm participating in this month. All right, next book I hauled is Girl, Serpent, and Thorn. So I saw this book originally. I don't remember which book box had it. I think it was last month, and it was the most gorgeous book ever. It had like mint green and pink sides, and obviously I can't go to the store and get that copy, but this copy is still absolutely gorgeous, and I love the juxtaposition between the snake, which is like the scariness of things, and the beautiful roses. So I think that's really, really neat. And this book is about a girl who has lived and like hidden from things to keep her family safe, and then her twin brother is getting married and she needs to decide what she's going to do, and it has to do with demons and creepiness, and it sounds amazing, and I'm excited, and it is such a beautiful cover. Like I said, the pastels. It's not a long read either, so I'm excited for this one. All right, next book I had picked up because I am doing a readathon and needed a new middle grade book, and this was recommended to me through Twitter, and it is the Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. From what I have gathered from reading the back of this book is that she is the unluckiest day child to be born. Morgan is blamed for all the local misfortunes, and then the curse is doomed for her to die at midnight on her 11th birthday, which is so morbid, especially for like a middle grade book. So then someone comes and she has to get, I think, complete these trials so she doesn't have to die when she turns 11. Really weird. It's a chunk of a book for a middle grade, but I'm like super excited. I've heard a lot of good things about this. All right, next book I snagged is again another new release. It's called I Killed Zoe. Spanos, and I just want to take a minute to look how gorgeous this book is. So it's all blue, and I believe all of the first edition books came with these beautiful blue sprayed edges. I'd seen this on someone's account. I don't remember who it was. They hadn't read it yet. They had it as a ARC, but hadn't gotten to it yet before it was released. I think it was the beginning of this month. I was at Barnes & Noble and saw it, and I wanted to pick it up. It is a young adult thriller. Someone named, I believe it's Zoe Spanos is actually the name, has gone missing from a local town, and this girl named Anna just shows up and actually looks like pretty close identical to her, and so it's a young adult mystery thriller. I am reading this month for one of my readathons, but absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous. Next book I got was from a book box. One of the most beautiful covers I have ever seen, and this is Where Dreams Ascend by Janella Angels, maybe, or Angelus. I don't know. You guys know me. I butcher names. I apologize. This book from this book box, it was from Owl Crate, is the most gorgeous book I've ever seen. It is hardcover. There was no cover on this, but look at how gorgeous this is. I have heard amazing things about this book. I honestly don't know anything about it. Sorry. That's from my book bingo, because this is one of my book bingo prompts, which I'll put below. But this is gorgeous. I've heard people have said amazing things about this. I'm excited to read this month, and yeah, so that was from a book box. So this book was completely unnecessary to buy. I have the book already, but this edition of this copy of this book is the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. Plus, this is the series that really kind of got me into fantasy in general, and it's my favorite book of the series. So it is Red Queen. Can I just say how gorgeous this is? Can we just, all for a minute, just, I can't say no. This is literally the most beautiful book I've ever seen. This is the back. Spine's gorgeous with the red cover, or the red sprayed edges, and then in the inside is even better, beautiful too. It's red, and then it has the red queen. It's really hard to see, but it has the red queen on it as well, with like dripping of like the red blood, and yeah. Like I said, I literally just bought a hard copy of The Red Queen because I originally read it on an ebook and had all the other books in the series. I didn't buy it because I didn't know if I was going to like it, because like I said, fantasy was newer to me at this moment in time when I started this series, like last year or 2 years ago. But It was absolutely gorgeous. So I looked online, obviously, to see if they had the rest of the series in this beautiful collector's edition. They only have the second one from what I've seen through Barnes & Noble and through Amazon, so I don't know if they've come out with all 4 of them. But I need to buy the second one. They only had this one at Barnes & Noble, but it's probably one of my favorite books that I own. Absolutely gorgeous. But like I said, it was completely unnecessary because I don't even want to read this copy because it's absolutely so gorgeous. I apologize for the toddler in the background. Alright, so the next book I actually bought the same day as The Red Queen, which was just yesterday, and that is The Broken Throne by Victoria Ayard. I probably said that wrong. Ayard. Sorry. But this is a collection of Red Queen stories and artifacts, like from all of the 4 books. So I'm really excited, and again, I have an issue. I could have bought the paperback, but this was a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so like the inside cover is absolutely gorgeous. And it also comes with a pull-out family tree, which is like super, super cool. So again, I paid more money than I wanted to, but it just was really, really cool. And like I said, I really like the Red Queen series. So yeah, so this is super exciting to read, and it's absolutely gorgeous as well. So there's that one. All right, my next book that I have held so far is The Southern's Guide to Vampire Slaying by Grady Hendrix. So I read my first Grady Hendrix book when I read Horror Store, which was a great book. If you have not read that book, I highly suggest picking it up. I did talk about it in a wrap up for, I want to say May. I'll post that below. But yeah, so this is really cool. It has to do with vampires, which I'm totally not usually into vampire type things, but I really liked his writing style in that book. So I'm excited to dive into this. Plus the book itself is just super pretty. So this is the inside. It's the beautiful like peach for the peaches. And then it has a beautiful like green cover. And it's the Town of Mount Pleasant Public Library, which is I'm assuming where the book takes place. And then the inside too is these beautiful flowers. So this book itself is super beautiful. I wanted a hard copy version of this book because of that reason. But I'm excited to read it. I am participating in the Horde in 24. And I think one of the prompts something with paranormal representation in it. And this would be perfect because it does have vampires in it. All right, next book I hauled is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. So this is another great example of me being late to the train on reading books. I'm not even going to go into this because I feel like every single person ever existed who likes books on BookTube has either read this book or knows what it's about. But I'm excited to kind of make my own decision and my own opinions about this book because, like I said, it's so well liked from the BookTube world in general, and I'm super excited to actually read it for myself. All right, next book I hauled is Illuminate. Again, late to the game on this one. The Illuminate Files, I've heard really cool things. I know it looks like a chunker, but like I was nervous. But when I actually really looked at it, and I know it was multimedia just from watching BookTube in general, but obviously, you know, it's hard to make the decision for yourself, like how fast and slow you think you're gonna read it. But I think it will be fast because it's not like written like a normal book. But it's just, I think it's such a cool book. I love how it starts the lighter to darker pages. Again, I'm not gonna go into this. I feel like everybody on BookTube has read this book or has seen or heard about this book, except me, because apparently I lived underneath a rock until I entered BookTube. So, Illuminate. Next book that I purchased or hauled this month is Slay by Brittany Morris. So this story is about a girl named Kira Johnson who is one of the only black students at her school. But when she goes home, she is part of a gaming community called Slay, and it is for mostly it is a for black teenagers, and she's actually one of the developers in it. But a person, or I don't know if it's a girl or boy, gets murdered and over the dispute in the gaming world, and obviously that is then comes back on her with also some racism as well as involved in it and racial tensions. So again, I'm really excited. This book is absolutely gorgeous. I love the cover, like the pixelated version of like a gaming, and then the inside is pink with on fire. Absolutely gorgeous. These people are killing it. Sorry, I get a little excited about when books look pretty. But yeah, I have bought way too many books already. I need to go in a book ban for myself, but I don't know. That's just so difficult. I am sorry for the changes sometimes in the way that the background looks, just because sometimes a toddler comes in and he hits the thing, or he was trying to like lasso it with Woody's rope. I don't know. But if you have enjoyed this little clip of what I've had so far and you would like to see more videos from me, if you could press the subscribe button down below and take this journey with me. If you liked this video, press the thumbs up button. Also, if you want to get notified when I post new videos, which I try to do several times a week just depending on life, and you can press that alert button. Also, all my social medias are down below if you want to follow and become friends. And yeah, so stay kind, loves, and I'll see you later. Bye!